Welcome to the Fitness Oracle, the podcast where we bring you real conversations with real people just like you, with real stories just like yours. I'm your host, John Katsavos, and today we embark on a journey of transformation with an extraordinary guest who's been leaving an incredible mark on the world. Meet Rebecca Whitman, a magnetic abundance mentor and internationally acclaimed author who's not just a success story, but a beacon of inspiration for all of us striving for more. A graduate with honors from Princeton University, Rebecca's accolades extend far beyond her academic achievements. Recognized as Life Coach of the Year and Empowered Woman of the Year by the prestigious International Association of Top Professionals, she's a force to be reckoned with. In the fast-paced world of entrepreneurship, LA Weekly magazine positioned her among the top 7 entrepreneurs to watch in 2023. But that's not all. As the host of the globally ranked podcast Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant, which received the esteemed Positive Change Award, Rebecca has carved out a space where individuals can explore the dimensions of life that truly matter. She's a philosopher dividing existence into 7 pillars of abundance: spiritual, physical, emotional, romantic, mental, social, and financial. Through these pillars, she guides individuals towards equilibrium, ushering in more joy and liberation. Rebecca's wisdom has graced the pages of renowned magazines such as New York Weekly, The Disruptor, and Voyage LA, solidifying her as an authority on transformation. Her insights have not only resonated through print, but also across the airwaves. She has graced the screens of ABC and CBS and lent her voice to numerous podcasts. From the halls of the prestigious institutions like Columbia University and UCLA to virtual stages shared with luminaries like Grant Cardone, Jack Cranfield, and Les Brown, Rebecca's keynote speeches resonate powerfully, echoing her profound message of change and growth. During our conversation, we delve into pivotal topics that have power to ignite your journey, unveiling 7 pillars of abundance, morning practices, magnetizing a soulmate, cultivating self-care, and the world of the side hustle. Are you ready to amplify your life's potential? Dive into the world where possibilities are endless and transformation is inevitable. Subscribe to the Fitness Oracle newsletter today and unlock a treasure trove of exclusive benefits. As a subscriber, you'll be at the forefront of podcast releases, gaining early access to our conversations that are set to enrich your life. But that's not all. There's a personal touch awaiting you. As a part of this exclusive community, you'll enjoy a one-on-one phone call with me, an opportunity to discuss your fitness aspirations and how we can chart your path toward achieving them. Joining our private community, a space where the episodes come alive through interactive calls. Share your insights, your breakthroughs, and your triumphs as you apply these life-altering lessons. And that's just the beginning. As a valued member of our inner circle, you'll be granted access to exciting programs tailor-made for your journey to health and wellness, ensuring your progress knows no bounds. Elevate your existence. Join the Fitness Oracle newsletter today and embark on an odyssey toward a healthier, happier you. The path to your transformation starts here. Rebecca, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So how's the puppy proofing coming along? I know before I hit the record button, we were talking about you're prepping for the new puppy that you're bringing home.
We are. We got the leash and the harness and the food and the wee pads, and we're putting away all the paperwork and magazines, which is great because it's decluttering. And we're bringing home our Black Lab puppy Indigo next week. We're just counting down the days.
Very cool. I love labs. They're one of my favorite dogs. One of my favorite dogs. My
Yeah.
favorite is Rottweiler.
Oh yeah, they're great. I'm a big dog person. I love labs and Rottweilers, but this is my third lab. I had a vision of my adult life when I was in my 20s. I'm like, if I can have a yellow lab, a chocolate lab, and a black lab, I think anything else I do as an adult is gravy. And now I'm coming up to my third lab, the black lab, and I'm excited to complete the trilogy.
Very cool. Very cool. You must be very excited as well.
I'm so excited.
That's awesome. I always kick off the show with these two questions just to get a good perspective of my guest and why you got involved in the business in your business in the first place. So, what first got you interested in doing what you do?
Yeah, it's funny, John, because I never thought I would be rated #1 life coach or be an author. I moved to LA 22 years ago to pursue my childhood dream of being an actress. And although I had small parts on hit shows like Friends, CSI, and 24, I didn't quite get that big break. So I found myself working at children's acting schools, which I fell in love with because I don't have kids. And I had a lot of free time because the kids were only available in the afternoon and on the weekend. So during my days, I would study with great spiritual teachers about the law of attraction, people like Michael Beckwith, Abraham Hicks, Louise Hay, Marianne Williamson, Wayne Dyer. And I learned a lot about how our thoughts create our reality. And I was able to successfully apply that to my finances and my health, even my social life. But my romantic life eluded me, and I kept picking emotionally unavailable narcissistic men, and I ended up marrying one thinking I could change him, and I could not. So 3 years after marriage, I filed for divorce, and as my marriage was unraveling, my dad was declining in a nursing home. And in one of our last conversations, he asked me to write a book, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to write about. My dad's funeral was on a Wednesday. My divorce was finalized 3 days later on a Friday. And 6 months later, I was sitting in my financial planner's office, and he said, Rebecca, you had your best fiscal year ever this year, the year that you lost your dad in your marriage. You're actually a self-made millionaire. And I would like you to write a book and teach women and men what you did to do it and how you were so resilient. So I looked at my life and I realized that there were 7 key areas: spirituality, fitness, emotions, romance, mindset, social, and financial. And when you have all 7 areas of life in alignment, you can become balanced, beautiful, and abundant. So now my mission is to empower people to go from burned out to balanced, beautiful, and abundant.
Have there ever been any moments where you said, enough is enough? I'm just going to go find a 9 to 5 and just numb out for the rest of my life and just kick back in my 401k and just watch the sunsets coming down from Maui?
Never, because I have been in all commission sales my whole life. I've done anything from network marketing to selling Fords to selling health and beauty products and salons. And I like the thrill of the hunt. I guess some people get adrenaline from jumping out of airplanes or, scaling mountains. I get the adrenaline from all commission sales and having to hunt my dinner, so to speak. So I would never, ever, ever consider a 9 to 5 job in corporate America. To me, that would just be like not honoring who I was.
Very interesting. Very, very cool, though. Very interesting, but very cool because there are moments as we're recording this. I actually do have a 9 to 5. I was forced back into a 9 to 5 because out of necessity.
Yeah.
You talked briefly about your 7 pillars of, I'm assuming those are the 7 pillars of abundance.
Yes.
Yeah. How exactly did you come around defining what the actual pillars were in order to start teaching them?
It's funny. I went to, and by the way, if you have a job, I think that's totally cool. We'll talk about this later in the interview. I actually teach people not to quit their job and to start a side hustle. So I'm just saying, for me personally, I still have a job. I still work at a children's acting school 3 days a week. It just happens to be all commission sales. But if you have a job, that's totally cool. Let's get you a side hustle so you can either have multiple income streams or have an exit strategy. As far as the 7 pillars goes, I was at a sales training when I was in my 20s, and they said that there are 6 building blocks of life, and they taught us how to set goals every January in the 6 areas. And I added one, romance, and that is how I got the 7 pillars, and they're in order of importance. So spirituality is first, because I believe if you are connected to a power greater than that yourself, whatever you call it, the universe, God, Allah, Buddha, Jesus, doesn't matter, as long as it's a power that you can have faith in and that you really believe is looking out for you and that loves you. That is the foundation of a happy life. The second is the mission of your show, the Fitness Oracle, which is fitness. If you have your health, you have your wealth, you have every opportunity at your fingertips when you're healthy. When you're unhealthy, your number one priority is to get healthy. So that's second. The third one is emotions. If you have all the money and all the health in the world and you're depressed or you're anxious or you have mental illness, it doesn't matter. So being emotionally stable, centered, happy is so important. The next one is romance, and romance comes after emotions, because if you're negative, cynical, and depressed, you're going to attract someone who's negative, cynical, and depressed, because you attract who you are, not who you want. So the next one is romance, and having a healthy, romantic, loving partner is really crucial for a happy life. The next one is mindset, and that's exactly what people are doing who are listening to this wonderful show. They're working on their mental health. They're working on expanding their mind. There's so many great podcasts, like my podcast, The Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant Show. And there's just YouTube videos, audibles. Like, this is the golden age of mindset work. The next one is social, having people around you that have what you want so you can do what they did and you can get what they got. If you have an impossible dream and you don't know anyone who's done it, it's not going to be that motivating. But if you're actually around people, I don't care if they're coaches, webinars, seminars, even YouTube videos, if you're in a community where people are actually achieving what you want to achieve, that makes it so much more attainable. And then finally, financial. And everybody thinks financial is first. Like, I'll just work 60 to 80 hours a week. I'll make tons of money. I'll have enough money to hire a personal trainer. I'll get in great shape. I'll look really hot. I'll attract the love of my life. We'll go on spiritual retreats and we'll socialize with other couples. But in my experience, when I have all the other areas in alignment, when I'm healthy, when I'm spiritually centered, have friends, have romance, then the money just comes in.
Interesting. I want to touch up on a couple of them, but specifically directed towards this show. Let's kick it off with the romance, because I think the romance part for a lot of men out there is it's a difficult one, because we have this conception or misconception that it's impossible to find a soulmate. Soulmate's like probably 1 in a trillion chance that you're going to find it, and there's a good chance likely that you're never going to find the person that you're supposed to be with. So you just keep going from one woman to another, to another, to another, to another, and they just start becoming a revolving door. How do you help stop that revolving door for a man, and how do you help them see the beauty of the woman that is in his life right now and appreciate that? Because that's another very difficult thing for a man to do.
Yeah, I think that there is only one twin flame, and that is like 1 in a trillion. And a twin flame is 2 souls come down from heaven at the same time, and then they like split off. And that is like 1 in a trillion. And sometimes you don't want to find your twin flame because there's usually a lot of fighting, because it's just like you. It's a mirror. Someone who's exactly like you can be really annoying. There are many soulmates. There are friends who are soulmates, pets who are soulmates, lovers who are soulmates. To me, a soulmate is just someone that you have a past connection with. Like, you just meet them, and 5 minutes later, you're like, God, it's so weird. Like, I feel like we've had this conversation before. I feel like I know you. Like, I just met you, but I just have this like really deep connection that I totally get you and you get me. That's a soulmate. And there are many soulmates out there. So if you're a man and you're listening, don't give up on soulmates. There are many out there, and you can definitely find one. And then as far as the part about appreciating the woman. Oh, you one more thing before that. You were like, it's just a revolving door of going to woman to woman to woman. I have learned this from my dating coach, and she's like, men fall in love with virtue. And it's so easy for men to get casual sex because that's the culture that we're in. We're in the hangout culture. There's online dating. There's so many ways to have casual sex. And if that is working for you, by all means, keep doing it. I call that Stairmaster sex. Like you just do it, you get off the Stairmaster, like wipe the sweat off, and you go on about your day. Like that is Stairmaster sex. And if you want to think of sex as, a workout or just a physical release, and that's totally on you. I have no judgment. But if you are looking for romance, if you are looking for a really beautiful connection with the opposite sex, then I believe you should wait as long as possible before you have sex and actually get to know the person and then decide if you like them. I just had one of my good guy friends last night. He is breaking up with his girlfriend and he's like, I love her, but I don't like her. He's like, that means I love having sex with her and I'm attracted to her, but I don't actually like her as a person. Like, I don't enjoy her company. I don't like her values. So I would tell the guys who are listening to your show who really want a romantic relationship, wait and decide if you actually like the person. Because when you're in a romantic relationship, you want to be experiencing the 3 C's: chemistry, communication, and compatibility. If you have the chemistry and you can't communicate with the person, or if you have the communication, but yet they're not compatible, meaning like they annoy you, like my friend last night who's breaking up because he doesn't like his girlfriend, that's not going to work. So just take your time getting to know the person. Just because someone's willing to have sex, it doesn't mean you have to have sex, because once you have sex, you bond and all bets are off. You can't even like see them for who they are.
At a point, you do, don't you? I mean, there comes a point in the relationship where, because I remember when I was with my ex-fiance and I thought I was going to marry her. I thought she was the perfect fit for me and everything. And whatever. I started to see her for the true colors that she was. But that only came through the intimacy when the rose-colored glasses came off.
Yeah, I mean, you do get to know someone after having sex on an intimate level, but you could say that you can get to know someone through taking a vacation. Travel brings out different qualities. Living with someone brings different qualities too. I'm just saying, if you want a relationship and you want to give someone a shot, don't have sex with them right away, because you won't be able to see some of their qualities. The friendship isn't the same. I mean, you all feel like, they say the friendship doesn't extend past the first lay. There's no more like buddy, all this stuff. It becomes different. It just becomes, there's a power shift after sex. It's just a different dynamic. So I'm just saying to get to know the person as long as you can before having sex. I would even go far as to say this: if you're a man who's listening and you're like, oh, I have to have sex, that's like a biological need, it's like eating or going to the bathroom for me, that's totally cool. Have a servicing agreement with someone who isn't like a potential long-term committed partner, and you can have casual sex with someone. It's consensual. You're an adult. Again, no judgment. But then the person that you think could be your long-term romantic partner, take your time and really get to know them before you make a decision.
Touching back to something that you said a little while ago about how you married a narcissist. Now that plays on both sides. So I know women who are narcissists and I know men who are narcissists. Usually they have a tendency of not showing their colors until later on in the relationship. How do you help people identify these clues, these indicators where, you know what, something ain't right with this person? What's going on? Do I really want to continue this?
I knew what I was getting into. I did what I call painting the red flags pink, because I was 39 and I was like, if I don't marry this guy, I'm never going to be able to have kids. And I knew that it was not a healthy, loving, romantic partnership. And I didn't care. I was just like forcing it to happen. So I think you know how you feel when you walk away from someone. If you feel energized, uplifted, excited, that is a healthy interaction. I don't care if it's friendship, business, romance, whatever. But if you go away feeling like, wow, that was really uncomfortable, or that was kind of like harsh, or I don't think I'm really like that good at relationships, or, when you start questioning yourself, that is not a good sign, because you want a person that appreciates you and builds you up and supports you. There's no such thing as neutral energy. Someone's either lifting you up and supporting you, or they're draining you and bringing you down by narcissism or toxic behavior. So go where the love is. If somebody is being like rude or mean and you're like, oh, then there's gaslighting, right? If you say something, oh, that was so mean when you said that the other night, and they're like, oh, come on, you're too sensitive. I didn't mean anything by it, get over yourself, or even worse, you're crazy. I didn't even say that. That's even worse, because they're not even acknowledging your feelings. So just trust your feelings. If somebody makes you question yourself or doesn't rub you, if someone is like being harsh or abrasive, you feel it, especially if you're sober. I used to drink. I'm a sober member of Alcoholics Anonymous, but when I drank, I was just like, it doesn't matter. I'll just get drunk and I just like to hang out with this person. But when you're stone cold sober and someone's rude, it really hurts.
Yeah. 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 100%. 100%. I'm also a recovered alcoholic as well.
Great.
I've heard some stuff from my old friends that it's like, wow, this is what I'm still remembered for. Very good. Very good. Um, how do you help change that narrative about yourself from people in your past? Because that can also bring people, like, I know how it made me feel when he introduced me to his kids. And as you know, John, no matter how, he's a small guy, but he could pound back and put people under the table. That is a big, big, big hit to the person that I am today.
I have people in my life, especially in my family, that do not acknowledge how much I've changed and grown on the path of spirituality and sobriety. They still see me as a very rude, obnoxious, aggressive person, which I was. And I'm powerless, there's nothing I can do. I can just keep showing up and being kind and being the best person I can be. And I'm powerless over what other people think about me, just like I'm powerless over alcohol and everything else. So the only thing I can control is my intention. And my intention is to be a loving presence in the world in every conversation. Some people just can't, let that old image go and see the new me. And that's okay. I'm not going to beat myself up. And people change. People are doing the best they can with the knowledge, strength, and awareness that they have. And if they knew better, they would do better. And some people just can't see the change in you, and that's okay.
That's a very healthy perspective to have on yourself and how to move forward. I'm gonna actually put that in my life too.
Great. I
Thank
love it.
you.
I'm glad I could be of service.
um, and it also kind of ties into where we're going to be leading into it with self-care, because there's another little bit of a stigma, and I'm starting to see a little bit of a shift in this stigma for men with self-care. Like, going for massage, going for manicures, pedicures. I'm starting to see more men do it. I'm still not comfortable walking into a manicure place and getting my nails done. I'm not, to be honest, I'm totally transparent. I'm not comfortable doing that. I can do it myself. Um, but like massages, like taking care of this somatically, and not just somatically, but also spiritually and psychologically. So How do you see it different between men and women, if there is a difference?
Oh, there's a huge difference. So women are taught by the time, they're young that you don't want to be selfish. Like that is the worst thing that you could call a woman is selfish, because women are praiseworthy when they're nurturing, when they're givers, when they are like, self deprecating. That's very appreciated by society. If a man brags about himself and I was like, yeah, I crushed my workout today. Oh my God. I lifted the most weights of anyone in the class. That's considered confident and cool. And if a woman said that, oh my God, I crushed my workout. I was like, number one in the class or whatever, they'd be like, what is her problem? Like she is so full of herself. So it's the same with self-care. So women, oh my God, if you put yourself first and then take care of everyone else, you're selfish. If a man does that, it's like, great. Yes, a man can go golf for 8 or 9 hours and then come home and he's considered like a great father. But if a woman stayed gone on a Sunday for 8 or 9 hours and left the husband with the kids, it'd be like, wow, she's like a neglectful mom. So there's definitely a huge disparity in selfish. I like to tell my clients that self-care is not selfish because I think of our energy as a cup of tea. And if women are constantly giving to everyone, their kids and their spouses and their friends and their employers, employees, and they're just giving, 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 they're eventually going to deplete their energy and get exhausted and then burn out and then, get sick. And I actually have had a few women on my show that have actually gotten really sick from burnout. Like it can be a life or death disease. People could actually die from burnout if it leads to a terminal illness. So I teach women and men, if you're listening, fill your own cup up first. Do the self-care, whether it's a massage, a mani-pedi, sleeping in an hour, whatever that is, like finishing that book, just looking through magazines, whatever makes you feel rejuvenated and revived. And then when your energy is full, then you can show up as a better spouse, a better mother or father, a better employee or employer, a better friend. So fill your cup up first.
That's really good advice, and it's advice that I actually give my clients. You'd be surprised how many people that I asked, "Who's the most important person in your life?" And they all say, "Oh, my spouse. Oh, my kids. Oh, my parents. Oh, this person. Oh, that person." It's like, no, all wrong answers. You are the most important person in your life. Because just like you said, if you get sick, how are you going to do the 9-hour shifts? How are you going to bring home the money to feed the family? So I love it. I love it that you give that analogy of filling up your teacup and making sure that you have enough energy inside the teacup to give up to give other people, but then fill it back up. I think it's really good because it really starts to put the focus on you as well as the people that you have to take care of. And as a man, our responsibility is the people that we have to take care of. So where do you think that got distorted, where we think we got to push, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle?
I think that is post-industrialism, where everything became about money, 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 chasing, chasing, chasing. There's never enough money for anybody. I mean, that's why they created, businesses to make money. I don't think it used to be like that, pre-industrial revolution. People were just like living off the land and they were not looking for the accumulation of wealth like they are post-industrial. And I think now in this age, it's starting to shift again to like how it really was, that people are not living to work, but they're working to live. And especially with the younger kids, Generation Z, they are more about travel and experience than our generation, who is just about the accumulation of money and things. So I think it is starting to shift again. But yeah, it just became all about greed and accumulation of stuff. And people just can't seem to get enough. People are addicted to consumerism. And when you're addicted to acquiring something, you're going to keep going and going and pushing until you can get more and more and more and more and more.
Interesting. You said something there about there's a shift happening, and I see it myself. I do see it. I saw it in myself at my grandfather's funeral. It happened to me. I was sitting in the church pew, and I was looking at my grandfather's corpse, and all I could think about was, here's this man made a lot of sacrifices for his daughters. He had 4 daughters, 8 grandkids, and he got to meet his great grandchild. And he had this award-winning garden, beautiful house, money, friends, prestige in the community. And it's like, what is he taking with him? That one thought just popped into my head. I'm like, everything's here. We sold his house. The family pretty much went, it was the glue, and it just went scattered. And he himself is taking, what is he taking with him? So that was my turning point as why I'm doing stuff the way I'm doing stuff. Do you think that there's specific points in people's lives that they have that they will be able to see it and say, maybe I don't need the Mercedes M series or the the SL 500 or the BMW or the Land Rover? Maybe that's just too much. Do you think that there's a point in everybody's life where they may see that?
I think there may be a point in somebody's life if they lose someone dear to them, like you lost your grandfather, or if you have some kind of a near-death experience. I think that people really need to realize what is important. I mean, some people realized it through COVID, right? They realized I was just spending all my time chasing after materialism, where here I am, I can't leave the house in the pandemic, and what did it all matter? So there has to be some kind of a life-changing event that really shocks someone to the core. For me, right at the beginning of when COVID started in April of 2020, I had emergency gallbladder surgery. And I was hooked up to a feeding tube and couldn't eat for 5 days. Nobody could visit me in the hospital because of COVID protocol. It was just me and the hospital staff and, my higher power for 5 days. And I was just like, wow, like what's really important right now? And I had a huge revelation. I've always been health conscious, but I was like, my health is my number one priority in life, is to stay healthy. Everything else, anything that comes in front of me in my health, which is stress, negative thinking, toxic relationships, I'm done. Like I just had a whole new lease on life. So I think it does take a very big event for some people to get shocked. And yeah, there are no U-Hauls following hearse, we can't take our stuff with us to the other side. I personally will not have a legacy through biology because I don't have kids. So I do want to create a legacy through love, through empowerment, through showing people, hey, you don't have to be burned out, overwhelmed, and exhausted to make money, to have love, to be happy in the world. Like there is an easier, softer way to go through life. And that is my mission. And that legacy of people who have that epiphany, that's going to go on, past my earthly body.
Kind of shifting gears a little bit, but not really, because you're leading me right into these great questions, and I love it. I want to talk about the side hustle as well, because this is an important part of a person's mental health, good mental health. What is the importance of a person to have a side hustle, and what's the difference between a side hustle and a hobby?
That's a great question. Well, most business coaches, as I said, they will teach you to quit your job, max out your credit cards, put yourself in a do or die situation, lose your health insurance, like your family will starve, but you'll somehow figure it out. And I think that is very stressful. That creates a lot of cortisol in the body. that can hurt your relationship with your kids and your spouse. So I teach people, keep your job, pay your bills, get your health insurance, and create something on the side that can be lucrative with the job, or you could eventually leave the job and make the side hustle your career. I'm a huge believer in having multiple income streams. The 1% of the wealthiest people in the world have 7 to 10 income streams. So I have 5. I'm halfway there, but it's I think it's great for just having an exciting life. When you think about how we were raised growing up in school, we had our little 5-subject binder, and we had like 5 subjects, different homework in each subject. We could handle it. Like we could handle having multiple. We weren't just like, all right, this year it's a math year. I'm just doing math, nothing else. Next year I'll do English. We can handle it. Like it's about time management, but I really feel our mind can handle having multi-passionate income streams. The difference between a hobby and a side hustle is the intention. A hobby has no intention of making money. It's just simply a hobby, something you do for fun. One of my hobbies right now is playing tennis. I grew up playing tennis. I took a 20-year hiatus. I came back and now I do it once a week. It's a hobby. Am I ever going to like bet on tennis or make any money off tennis? No. But I do have side hustles that I'm equally as passionate about as tennis, if not more, that are very lucrative. And one of them is a health and wellness company where I promote collagen for fat loss and anti-aging. I love that collagen. I would bathe in it. I'll drink it until my last day on the planet. Like, yes, I am promoting that collagen. It's just as fun for me as playing tennis.
Isogenics?
No, it's called Modere.
Okay.
Have you heard of Modere?
I've heard of Modere.
Yeah.
I'm part of Isogenics. When you said collagen and anti-inflammatory, I'm like, Isogenics, maybe.
It's all good. As long as you're drinking collagen, I don't really care where it's from, because if you're over 25, you need to be drinking collagen.
Yes, you do. I know because I have a full-time job, I have a part-time job, I have this podcast, I do stuff for Isogenics, I have another side hustle that I'm just getting involved with, and it is exhausting. It is very exhausting, especially when you have a full-time job and 8 and 40 hours of your week have to be dedicated to that job because it is paying your bills. Yeah. It is putting the roof over your head, food in your mouth, and clothes on your back, gas in the car. How do you manage all that work? What are some of the tricks that you use to manage 5 different income streams and your hobbies?
Yeah. So you want to become a master of your calendar and a student of your calendar. On Sunday, I like to go through each day and block out, number one, when am I going to exercise? Because that's my number one priority. When am I going to have lunch? And then I just do power hours. So I don't know if you heard about power hours before. Power hours are just taking 1 hour out of your day and devoting it to one of your businesses. And during that hour, you are completely focused. You're not checking your social media or texting a friend. You are just like pedal to the metal, focused on the job at hand. And you look at the week on Sunday night and you're like, okay, how many power hours can I devote to each business? And you just plan your week and then you study it, and then you have boundaries around it. Like if you have a power hour and somebody reaches out, then you let them know as if it's a real job. I am busy until this time. I'll call you, then, or don't even put your phone on do not disturb, but be protective of those power hours. And I'm not perfect at it. I have, an addiction to social media, just like everybody else, but I'm working on it.
We all are. You're not alone. You're not alone. We all are. One of my power hours is to go on social media, LinkedIn, and just network on LinkedIn. Oh man, the rabbit holes I go down.
Yeah, yeah, me too. So we're in we have intention deficit disorder, not attention, because we have an intention. Okay, I'm going to do my power hour. I'm just going to work on my business. We get so sidetracked. There's so much stimuli, like,
Oh
thrown
yeah.
at us. So it's like controlling your focus, even if you can just do 5 minutes at a time. I like the Pomodoro method, 20 minutes of focus and a 5 minute rest. And if I set my phone timer for 20 minutes, that really helps.
So 5 minutes of focus and 20-minute rest?
Oh, I
Or
said it the reverse. 20 minutes of focus and 5 minutes of rest. It's called
oh,
the
okay.
Pomodoro
That's
method.
pretty good. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Thank you for that tip.
Yeah, I can do anything for 20 minutes.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. You're also a big fan of morning practices, morning. I call them morning routines. I think they're pretty much the same.
Yeah, same thing.
Why should somebody implement morning routines into their lives?
Well, for me, I wake up and I have like anxiety. I'm like, oh my God, I have so much to do. I don't know what to do first, where to start. And I use a morning practice to calm and center myself for my day. So my mind doesn't run away with me and become like a runaway train. Because have you ever noticed that energy like compound? So if you've woken up late, you miss your alarm, you step on the kid's toy or bone, you trip on the way to the bathroom, you spill toothpaste all over your dress shirt, then you go to the car, you're late, you don't have time to make breakfast, so you drink your coffee in the car, that spills everywhere, then you get a parking ticket. Like it just negative energy spirals down, just like positive energy spirals up. So if I can start my day on a positive trajectory by having a morning routine, then I can end up having a great day. So I am a huge believer in having a positive morning routine. And then I get derailed. I'm only human. I can start my day over at any time and go back to my morning routine, which is I wake up, I drink lemon water to detox my body. I have my liquid collagen. Then I make a caffeinated beverage. I go back and forth between tea and coffee. I have a little corner of my couch where I feel really comfy, cozy. There's a blanket, pillows. I have my spiritual literature to the left of me on a coffee table. I'll write in a really cool abundance journal, which I'm going to give as a gift to your listeners. The abundance journal has completely transformed my life. It's a journal format that I learned many years ago, 30 years ago, from someone at a 12-step meeting. She disappeared. I really think she's an angel. I never saw her again, but I've been doing this format now for 30 years and it's completely changed my mindset from negative to positive. So I write in my abundance journal, read from a couple spiritual books, do my prayer meditation, and then I'm off to the gym. And this is something that I've really been doing every morning consistently. Do I do it perfectly? No, but I do some aspect of that every single day. And it really sets the tone for an amazing day.
Very cool. And thank you for the free gift. I'm a huge fan of journaling in the morning as well. I don't do it every day, but when I do, I know I just realized that, my whole day is going to just be a lot better because I got first thoughts out of here onto pen and paper. So thank you for the free gift. I know I'm going to download it. I know I'm going to look at it. I'm going to use it. And I really, 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 really do hope that my people that are watching this on YouTube, Rumble, or listening to this wherever, just download it. I know it's going to help. It's going to help.
Yeah, get it. It will really help. It's literally shifted my entire life. If I had a vault of all the journals I filled up using this format, it could fill a whole room.
Very cool. Very cool. Um, I wanted to ask you about there's this quote that I came across from another guest of mine about what Mark Twain said. Eat the frog, eat the frog. I think it's like something about eating in the morning, eat the frog. So do something disgusting in the morning. Do something hard that's in the morning. Get it off your plate first. How much of truth do you see in that? And do you do eat the frog in the morning?
Yeah. Eat the frog to me means just do the hardest activity first and get it out of the way. So for me, that's definitely working out. Even though I love working out, if I don't work out in the morning, it's not going to happen. I even try to trick myself and like wear workout clothes all day when I work from home, but I'll come up with excuse after excuse after excuse not to do it. So for me, eating the frog, it's definitely doing the workout first thing in the morning. But that could also mean doing something that is not fun that you have to do for your job. So whether that's accounting or writing an email or whatever it is that you are dreading about your day, just do it first and get it out of the way, because procrastination is not your friend. Like when I'm in procrastination, I'm making a mountain out of the molehill. The phone looks like it weighs about 500 pounds, and I just exaggerate things. So if I can just do the hardest thing in my day right away, send that email, send that text, make that phone call, write that email, respond to that person who is annoying you, do it in the beginning of the day, and then enjoy your day once that is done. Like I really believe that we can enjoy our day one day at a time and find the joy in your day in the simple things. It's not necessarily in like winning a big award. It could be in having a cup of coffee, like lighting a candle, looking at a flower, going a different way to work and noticing a beautiful home. I mean, find the joy in the simple things, because we're not in control over those huge events. Like, getting married, getting pregnant, or whatever it is, getting that huge raise, like that only happens, a few times in someone's lifetime. So I would challenge your listeners to find the joy in the simple things in life. I like that song. I forget what it's called, from Rent, like 5,000, 6,500 minutes. How
Mhm.
do you measure a year? And like cups of coffee. And it's in the little things that we measure a life in a year at the end.
One of my favorite quotes came from the TV show. Well, I guess you can call it a TV show. It's this new show called The Chosen. That had this one scene where it was Peter, and it's about Jesus and the disciples and everything, the stories behind their lives and everything. It's really well done, really well done. And it's not your atypical religious film. It's like very well done, very well done. Anyways, it had Jesus and Peter walking side by side, and they were talking about some when Jesus was going to come out and show the world and tell the world that he's the Son of God and this and that. And Peter just looks at Jesus and he goes, "Soon." This is my favorite line. My favorite line. And Jesus just looks at me, looks at him, and he goes, there's that word soon. What does soon really mean? Could be tomorrow, could mean next week, could mean a year from now, 10 years from now, 1,000 years from now. Ask my Father up in heaven what 1,000 years is, and then tell me about soon.
Yeah.
So I love how you said, get the hard stuff done first, because it helps you stop procrastinate and get away from that idea that I'll do it later. Soon I'll get to it. I'll get to it in the future. When? I like how you said, do it now. No excuses. And I think that's great. I think a lot of people will get a lot of value out of that.
Another thing that is a great time management hack is return texts and emails right away. People are shocked how fast I get back to them, but I know it's not that I'm trying to be so courteous. If I don't do it right away, it's going to get buried in my texts and my emails and my messenger. And if I don't respond right away, it's probably not going to happen. Or if it is going to happen, it's going to take down my mental energy thinking, oh, there's that one thing I forgot I had to do. I don't remember. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to take mental energy. So just do stuff right away in the moment. If you want to delegate a task to your assistant or something, just do it right away. And then it's off your plate and you're on to the next thing. It literally takes a second to do it in the moment, and it frees up so much mental space.
Very cool. We're coming up close to the end of the show. And these are the 10 questions I ask all my guests. And I just want to get your perspective on these 10 topics.
Okay.
With the increase in people suffering from depression from the past uncertainty that we've lived through and are currently living through, what would be the one thing that you could tell them to keep their hopes up?
I would tell them to move. Move them. I like the quote, move a muscle, change a thought. When you're in movement, when you're exercising, you're creating dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, which is the same cocktail in antidepressants. Even if it's just walking around the block, even if it's just stretching your body and doing yoga to a YouTube video, if you're in depression, I would say move your body.
Very cool. What is the one thing that you do daily that amplifies your ability to stay focused?
The one thing that I do daily that amplifies my ability to stay focused is to do the morning practice that I talked about and write in the God journal. And I write affirmations as if they've already happened. So I know what I am wanting to manifest every single day. And I write a list. I'm so happy and grateful that I already have blank, and I claim what I want to have in my life. And that keeps me very focused on what I want.
Very cool. If you could pick up the phone right now and call yourself at 20 years old, what would you tell yourself?
That's a great question. I've never heard it worded that way. I would say, do not care what people think. They're not thinking about you as much as you think they are. And just be the powerful, outrageous person that you are. And do not give a flying fuck.
I love it. Looking back, would you change anything?
Would I change anything? I don't believe in regret. I believe that every single thing that happened in my life was part of a divine plan and a divine purpose. And regret is beating myself up, which is a symptom of perfectionism, which I don't do anymore. So I have zero regrets. I did the best that I could, and I was trusting divine timing, and I trust it now, and I will not beat myself up. No.
Cool. From a woman's perspective, what's more important to a man, his word or his purpose?
His word. I think everybody's word. If somebody is not in integrity, then you can't build with them, whether it's romantic, platonic, or business. If somebody says something and doesn't follow through and you don't trust them, you can't build with that person, because it's always going to be in the back of your head that that person does not have integrity. And if you think of a table has 4 legs. That's what gives it integrity. That's why you can put stuff on top of a table and it doesn't fall. If you build with someone who doesn't have integrity, it's going to fall down and you're going to end up getting hurt.
What scares you?
What scares me is disease. I'm like obsessed. I listen to every podcast about health. I take so many supplements. I'm just like, and that's probably not good for manifesting, but I'm a health fanatic for that reason. I guess it's death. So ultimately I have a fear of death because disease would lead to death. So yes.
Okay. Where do you see balance, beautiful, and abundant in the next 5 years?
I see balance, beautiful, and abundant as a movement where people understand, if I'm feeling depleted or exhausted or burned out, I need to listen to the Balance, Beautiful, and Abundant show, pick up a book by Rebecca Whitman, I have a book called How to Make a Six-Figure Income Working Part-Time. They think of me, they're like, I'm pushing myself too hard. So I really want to create a movement where people are aware, wow, I'm exhausted today. I'm out of balance. Which of the 7 areas of my life have I been neglecting? So I want it to be a movement. More than a business, it's a movement.
Cool. How about you personally? Where do you see yourself personally in the next 5 years?
Oh, on a yacht in the Mediterranean, drinking Perrier, I'm just kidding. Who knows? I see myself in 5 years. I will have been married for 6.5 years. So happily married to my soulmate. The dog that I'm bringing home next week will be 5 years old. So Indigo will be happy and healthy. I will have online business that is more automated than it is now. So it's like a plug and play business where people can learn about my coaching and my seminars and stuff without me having to do every single live call. So I have a systematized business that keeps growing. I will be speaking to big audiences and inspiring and motivating people. And I will be healthy, radiantly healthy, looking 10 to 20 years younger than my age. I'll just be having fun and having a lot of energy and just finding the joy in life, which is my goal every single day, is to find the joy.
Where can people find more about you?
They can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Clubhouse, Threads, at RebeccaEWhitman.com. I'm going to give John my link tree where you can grab the Abundance Journal, and it also has a link to my podcast and my website on the link tree. And yeah, you can also go directly to my website, RebeccaElizabethWhitman with a Z.com.
We will post whatever links that you give us in the show notes so everybody has easy access to you and all your content. And again, thank you for that free gift for all my listeners. You have to download it. I'm downloading it. I'm going to be using it. And I'm going to be calling you guys out on it. So download it. Any final thoughts?
We covered so much. This podcast is amazing, and I love your mission to, empower people, especially men, to live their best life. I would just say my final thoughts is, if it's hard, if you're in pain, that means you're going against the flow of life, and it gets to be easier. We don't have to make everything such a struggle and such a push. When you're in the flow of life, things just become easier, and you get to have an easier life. It doesn't have to be this hard anymore. I hope today is a turning point.
Rebecca, thank you so much for coming on the show.
So
we covered quite a bit of content, and I'm very grateful for your back history, your struggles, and how you got out of it, and how you're helping so many other people get out of their struggles as well. You are a testament to your past, and what you are right now is a great person on this world to be in. So thank you so much for all your hard work, because I know how much work this is, especially with podcasting and side hustling and everything. So thank you so much. I really do greatly appreciate you and all your hard work.
you're so welcome. It was a pleasure to connect with you.
Going through hard times is just a test. What you need to know is that when you get out of whatever you're going through, you will be stronger than ever before, and you don't need to go through it alone. Always know that you are not alone. Stay tuned for more real people with amazing stories that are just like yours. Until then, to everyone out there listening, I wish you a good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you may be in this crazy world. Hey guys, John from Resilient Reboot Productions and the Fitness Oracle. I just wanted to thank you for watching this episode, and I really do hope that you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, and share this episode if you are watching this on YouTube or on Rumble. If you are listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker FM, or whatever streaming service that you may be using, please give us a 5-star rating and a positive review, as it will help us reach out to more people that are suffering from mental health issues. Now, if you haven't done so already, I am offering access to a free weekly newsletter that we send out every Sunday, and it's jam-packed with podcasting tips and health and wellness tips to keep you balanced in the podcasting and content creating space. So if you haven't done so already, sign up to this free newsletter. It's totally free, and it also gives you access to the Fitness Oracle private community in Mighty Networks, where we talk about this episode. We talk about how you have implemented these lessons that you've picked up in your life and how it's impacted your life. And we are working on a lot of great other programs and support systems for you guys to be able to access. So if you haven't done so already, sign up to the newsletter, and I'll see you guys on the inside.